Hello Internet, welcome to Making Money. My name's Eric and this is your Daily Dollar, our financial segment where I give you one lesson every day to help you with your financial life. Today's lesson is kind of cool. It's something that may be applicable to you. Right now is about the time of year, depending on your employer, that we're starting up new plans, health insurance plans, retirement benefit plans. And there's a ton of stuff that we can talk about when it relates to this kind of thing. But one in particular I want to talk about today is HSAs. Today's lesson is how to use an HSA. It's going to be a really high level discussion about that, but plain and simple, what an HSA is, it's a health savings account. Now, if you have heard through this before, you may have heard it through your employer, you may have an HSA outside of your employer. All it is it's an account designated for medical expenses. And this money can be used for anything from standard Band-Aids up to intense surgery. Normally how this works is if an employer has an HSA, they'll either do a match or you can choose to take some of your money each paycheck and put it into an HSA. For individuals, the cutoff is around $3,500. For couples, it's around $7,000. That will fluctuate depending year to year. That tends to be what we're at. But each paycheck you can put a little bit in and you can max out over the course of a year. But there are amazing things with HSAs. HSAs are tax deferred, which means you do not pay taxes on the money that you put into an HSA. In fact, people are probably aware that HSAs are tax deferred in two ways. You can put money into it tax deferred, meaning that when you get paid, before that money, any taxes come out of it, money goes over to your HSA, right? So no taxes are coming out of the money going into your HSA. Then you can use that money to pay for bandages, medical expenses, whatever you need to within the requirements of an HSA, tax deferred as well. As money comes out of it, you don't pay tax on that either. So it's twice tax deferred. Now, when we're talking about HSAs over the long run, normally when you put money into an HSA, you don't want to use it right away. You should use this as a type of emergency fund. We've discussed emergency funds. This is like a medical emergency fund. Think of it like that. In fact, the longer you can hold on to this, the better. Into retirement is great because you tend to have a lot more medical expenses later on in life. So you can dive into this once you get to the point where you really need it. But much like any other emergency fund, if you need it, if you're in a dire situation and you need to dive into it, you have it there and that's what it's for. Now, I mentioned that HSAs are tax deferred in two ways. That is true, but there's actually a third way that HSAs are tax deferred. And this is the area that people, even people who are familiar with HSAs, may not be aware of. So you get to put money into an HSA, tax deferred. When money is sitting in that account, it's just sitting in that account. You can actually work with your broker, whoever is holding that account, and you can invest that money. Depending on who you're working through, look into this option. Normally you can invest it into mutual funds, and they'll give you their range of mutual funds that they recommend. But you can invest this money while it's in your HSA, and the money you make on the investing of that money also tax deferred. So you can put it in tax deferred, you can invest it and grow it tax deferred, and then you can take it out and use it for medical expenses tax deferred. I'm saying that a lot because it's awesome. So if you're not familiar with this, do look into it. HSAs are a great way to create a little side emergency fund, especially for medical emergencies or normal health related items. So yeah, awesome. Be sure to check that out. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're enjoying this series, feel free to subscribe. I'd be interested in knowing if you have an HSA, if you've been able to stockpile some in it, or you tend to use it up quickly, as a lot of people tend to do. Feel free to leave that in the comments. You can always hit me up on Twitter, link in the description. And guys, I'll see you tomorrow for another awesome lesson. All right, have a good one, guys.